Hey everybody, this is Nay here. Welcome to my channel, The Ready Nurse Nay. I make videos on health, nursing, and inspirational related topics. So today's video, I'm be talking about the benefits of counseling and my counseling journey. So I have my little computer here so I can read from my notes. That's why I'm looking down. But the benefits of counseling and my counseling journey. I think that this is an appropriate topic. This video is going to be broken up into two parts. Part one is kind of like a more personal benefits of counseling and then counseling journey. And then part two is going to be more of like how to pick a counselor, how to pay for it, insurance come in, and how does that work? That's going to be part two. So today is more of like benefits of counseling, my counseling journey, more personal, intimate kind of video. I think that this video is definitely appropriate with just the stress related from the pandemic. It's kind of like the aftermath of the pandemic, all of the aftermath, the stress, anxiety, depression that the pandemic has left with loved ones dying and people getting sick and having social restrictions and employment losses or whatever the case may be. The aftermath of the pandemic, I think, definitely has caused mental health crisis in America. I think the busyness of just this world is definitely a lot on people's mental health. Some big events that I've seen are big as far as with celebrity mental health issues or just different things with Regina King. Is it Regina King? Regina King's son was 26-year-old and committed suicide, dealing with depression. The beautiful Chelsea Chris, USA winner, was a lawyer and activist. Jumped off of a New York high-rise building and committed suicide. I recently even learned that when I was going to class one morning, if you ever watched the Ricky Smiley morning show, Gary Hayes is Gary with the T. If you ever listen to that radio station, he was talking about his experience with bipolar disorder, having a mental health issue and mental health disease, and also just different how he has had and has suicidal ideations, and he talked about different ways of how to kind of like manage that. And counseling is one of those things. He uses medication and counseling and also just different support within his family and resources to help him during those times. And so I was like, wow, man, like people hurting, they're going through a lot. And I think counseling can help play a part in it. I'm not saying that it's the all in all, like you go to counseling and everything is going to fix. I don't think there's no perfect fix to the difficulties and challenges that people are facing. But it can be kind of like a part of your toolkit to help facilitate your healing and growth as far as, with mental health, promoting positive mental health. So talking about the benefits of counseling in my counseling journey. So for my story, I started counseling officially for the first time, I'm going to say at the end of 2020 when one of my dads passed away from COVID. I think when that happened, him being in the hospital for like 3 months on a ventilator, one day talking and the next day on a vent, and the next day like not alive, was traumatizing. I'm gonna say it was a little traumatizing, even now, like even though it's been a year and a half-ish, something like that, not even a year and a half quite yet, it's still a little like unbelievable at times, and it still hurts at times, but I guess it's more manageable, kind of, sort of. And but that's the thing with mental health and having a positive mental health. It's kind of like a continuum, and so it comes in waves, and so you do what you have to do to promote your positive mental health. And I think with counseling, you can use counseling, sure, right after tragic events, but even like years later, if you're starting to feel like those emotions creep up again, you can use counseling. I don't think it's like a set time, but anyway, so that's kind of like when I started my counseling journey, through there. So far I think I've met with maybe 3 counselors, maybe met with 1, 2 or 3 times, wasn't kind of, I felt like I was okay, right? And then 6 months go by and I'm like, oh my gosh, I need to talk to somebody. So then I met with another one, maybe 3, 4 times, and I was like, okay, it was all right. And then I started with another counselor, talking to her, through Zoom this year because of just, the mix of grief, but also dealing with the stress of managing school and personal life and all these other obligations. So just helping me to manage my emotions through that and make sure I'm taking care of myself, you know. So yeah, that's kind of how my journey started. And it's going smooth, you know. Some days are, you know, you'll have your highs and your lows. For me personally, dealing with grief, but even with the stress of school and work and personal, you know, obligations and stuff like that, I just do whatever I have to do to maintain a positive mental health. And for me, talking with a counselor, them pointing out any negative things that I'm doing and trying to, you know, do positive things or whatever, or maybe pointing out different subliminal messages that I'm saying I might not even be realizing, and I say, hey, you said that, well, what if you do this, you know, like it's helping me. It's helping to improve my mental health. I do different exercises daily, you know, with my counselor that they, you know, provide for me, like homework assignments, and it's beneficial. It really is. It's beneficial. So I go on a quick Google search. These are some of the benefits of counseling, and I have experienced some of these things. These aren't all of them. These are just some of the benefits. It can help improve self-esteem. It can help you with self-acceptance. It can help you manage emotions. It can help you to make better decisions, establish boundaries within your relationships, clarify problems and taking steps to solve it, healing from trauma, assist you in healing from trauma. It can help improve relationships by improving communication skills, identify negative coping mechanisms, and so many other things. And then, you know, can refer you to your doctor or a psychiatrist if you have symptoms and may need further evaluation, treatment, or medication. So those are just some of the few things that counseling can benefit you by, you know, doing. I would say definitely in my case, participating in that grief counseling helped me to go through the stages of grief, and then also kind of understand what was normal, what was not normal, what was positive and what was not positive. So it provided me with the information which made me to feel more confident and you know, and like, oh wow, you know, I'm not going crazy. These are just effects of grief. And, you know, oh, if I do this, this is helping manage in a positive way. You know, maybe this is a negative way, you know. So it just talking about it, sometimes talking about things can help you to heal. It can expose, sometimes it can expose what you're thinking and what you're feeling. You kind of let it out, and then somebody kind of gives you feedback, whether you're learning from it, whether it's correction, whether it's a tip or advice on how to kind of like navigate that emotion. That's kind of how counseling has been, you know, for me, and how my journey is going. Everybody's journey is unique and different, but that's kind of how I have been, it's been kind of benefiting me. And all these things improve my mental health. It definitely improves my self-esteem as I'm more self-aware of my emotions. Like I feel more like in control of my emotions, or if I'm feeling this way, it helps me. I'm feeling this way, and helping me to communicate how I'm feeling, you know, with other people, you know. So it's been helping me in that sort of way, improving my communication, improving my self-awareness. All of that is improving my, like, making me feel like, okay, I'm more in control of my own emotions and myself. And that improves my self-esteem, improves my confidence, improves my communication skills, and that adds positively to my mental health and my well-being and my wellness. Okay. When are some examples of when to utilize counseling? So these are just some random, there's plenty of times that you can use counseling that's not listed on this list, but this is just kind of like giving you some talking points of maybe like when would be beneficial to use counseling. Whenever you need it, use it. If you are feeling overwhelmed with normal day-to-day life, I think sometimes it's easy to think that, like, oh, I had to go through some type of trauma, or somebody had to have died, or I had to got sick or something before I use counseling. But no, that's not true. Sometimes you can just be overwhelmed with the normal day-to-day life responsibilities that you have. And in that case, it is totally acceptable and great for you to find a counselor, talk to a counselor, and they can help you navigate those feelings, maybe even find different alternative solutions to help better maybe certain things that you're doing in your life, you know, whether it's delegating or something like that, you know, so that you don't feel so overwhelmed. You know, you can still have anxiety with just different day-to-day life, and you may need medication, and they can refer you to a doctor or psychiatrist to be able to do that. So, you know, these just examples of when to utilize counseling. If you have high stress, whether it's through job, work, personal, if you have conflicts in your relationships, whether it's with your spouse, with your significant other, with your family, with your kids, work, etc., you can do family or couples counseling or individual counseling. If you have a mental health illness, bipolar, schizophrenia, anxiety disorder, OCD disorder, personality disorder, mood disorders, any type of thing, ADHD, you know, like any type of thing, even if you're on the spectrum, you know, the autism spectrum, anything. That could be just some reasons of maybe, you know, benefiting from counseling if you feel like you need it. If you have any type of recent disability or health diagnosis, I think this is a big one that gets overlooked. If you've had a health diagnosis that has completely changed your way of life, you know, like your ability to move and function and take care of yourself, if it has changed and altered your independence in any way, seeking counseling could benefit you, because I'm pretty sure has effects on your self-esteem, on your mind, that you have to kind of come to a place of self-acceptance, or do whatever, you know, to improve it. I think counseling would definitely benefit. Any type of divorce, marriage, blended families, you know, I think that gets overlooked too. Sometimes if you have a blended family, you know, or going through a divorce, yeah, counseling could be beneficial. I think with divorces or even marriages and with blended families, sometimes the parents can be so excited and just kind of they're thinking in tune with themselves, or they're dealing with themselves. You know, sometimes the kids are thinking like, oh, they're okay, they're still passing their grades, but no, sometimes that counseling can help to explore those deep thoughts, because children have deep thoughts too. So that counseling can help with things like that. I think adolescents going through puberty and figuring out your self-identity, those are good times for how counseling. If you have any type of crisis, anything that is a crisis, any type of trauma, whether it was in childhood, adolescence, or adulthood, whether it was past, future, you know, what past or present, if you have any dealing with any type of abuse, grief, addiction, rehabilitation after jail, any of these issues and so many more, I think would be good reasons for you to consider counseling to help you with that, whatever you feel like you need help with. So that was for this video. It is. I hope that it was beneficial to you. It's part one. It's benefits of counseling, and just kind of a little snippet of my journey with it.